welcome some more of the boys on the channel with the 6th episode of Season 3. We have reached the episode. This is the Herogasm episode. It is absolutely insane. I don't think I can probably show most of this on YouTube, so it's going to be a little bit clever editing here and there. But it is going to be a lot of fun hearing your guys' thoughts about Herogasm in the comment section down below, so make sure you share your thoughts down there. Last episode felt like a big turning point for the boys as a whole. We're seeing the team kind of get fractured more and more each week. We saw Huey run off with Butcher and Soldier Boy, leaving MM and Annie behind. Even before we get to the actual event itself, Herogasm, this episode is top tier, opening up with another parody of the infamous Imagine video that we saw earlier on in the pandemic with Gal Gadot and many other actors and actresses. Pretty great stuff here. The cameos we see in this one, a lot of them are actually from the animated series we saw not that long ago, Diabolical. After the way that we saw Soldier Boy take out Crimson Countess in the last episode, you can imagine once that info got back to the 7, they're going to be pretty shaken up. The one that's most shaken up probably is Homelander. Not that his mental state was all that great to begin with, but we do see him visibly shaken up, doubting if he could even take on Soldier Boy if he ends up having to face him, as he's giving himself pep talks in the mirror, which generally is not the sign of someone who's in their right mind. Same goes for Black Noir, who just straight up cuts the tracker out of his arm and just dips out of there, which is probably the best idea for him since we know Soldier Boy is on a revenge path for all the different Payback members, and they do have quite a history together. This episode, we do get a little bit closer of a look at Soldier Boy. I think Jensen Ackles is doing a great job as the character, even though the character isn't extremely likable whatsoever. He's definitely quite rough around the edges. He's brash, very old school style of thinking, obviously a bit angry. He wants revenge on all the Payback members, which does play into the favor of Huey and Butcher, because they do want to strike up that deal here where they're going to help him get revenge on the Payback members, and Soldier Boy's going to help kill Homelander. So I think that's kind of a win-win. In the last episode, we saw quite a bit of people being kidnapped. We saw Maeve get kidnapped, we saw Frenchie get kidnapped, and now we add Kamiko into the mix, which also goes hand in hand with Frenchie because that's where she ends up. Being forced to choose who to save in this situation and who gets shot. Thankfully, Kamiko sprinting into action and she just brutalizes all these people. It's extremely nasty. It's one of the many things that I cannot show on YouTube in full, but if you see the episode, you'll know exactly what I mean. Kamiko just goes off. Even though the A-Train stuff in particular is not one of my favorite storylines going on that's adjacent to the main story, I did like the developments here a little bit. You know, A-Train is still very upset about everything that happened with Blue Hawk, especially due to the fact that Blue Hawk severely injured his brother in the process, and he wants them to do something about it. And it was kind of sad to see Ashley put him in his place, although it was kind of satisfying because A-Train has been kind of a jerk like the entire series. One of the storylines that's unfolding this season that I'm actually quite invested in is the backstory with MM and his family's history with Soldier Boy. We get more interesting tidbits here in this episode. It's actually quite sad, and you do feel for MM a lot in this episode and understand his pain and why he wants so much revenge on Soldier Boy. It just sucks, though, seeing the team so fractured right now. Even if everybody is inevitably going to converge in the same exact spot, because we're all leading towards a party that's going on at the house of TNT, the next members of Payback that Huey and Butcher and Soldier Boy want to go take out. And you can imagine what that party actually is. Lo and behold, this party is the Herogasm, and it's absolutely nuts what we see going down inside the house. It's complete sex, drugs, alcohol, debauchery, all the nine. I mean, it's not as absolutely insane as the comic book version. It is a little bit more smaller scale, but it still is completely nuts. There's so many crazy things going on in this house, it's hard to focus on one thing alone, but it is insane to just see all these crazy superheroes just going at it. Even the Love Sausage is there making an appearance after we saw him in the last season. Fluids are being sprayed on people. Poor MM when that happens to him. We even see the Deep in there having sex with an octopus, which, I mean, that is very in character for the Deep, but it just goes along with just how insane this party is. Even through all of this crazy stuff we're seeing going on inside this house, it still is an extremely tense situation since we know at any point in time Soldier Boy is going to break into this house and try and kill TNT. It's going to get even more nuts, just in a different kind of way that we don't want to see happen because there's so many people that could be casualties. One of the best parts about this entire portion of the episode with its tension building as it continues to add more tense situations on top of it when Huey teleports in and runs into A-Train. And now that Huey has these temporary Compound V powers, you can imagine he continues to be building that self-confidence, that more self-worth that he has, demands an apology from A-Train, but I was a bit surprised that A-Train actually does apologize to him. I mean, he's still gets punched in the face by Huey anyways, but it was kind of an interesting growth moment there. I feel like that was probably brought on by Ashley putting him in his place earlier and kind of realizing he has kind of been a terrible person for so many seasons now. The shit really does continue hitting the fan once Soldier Boy does arrive inside of the house. Poor MM trying to take out his frustration on Butcher, hitting him with a bat. It doesn't do anything. Then he throws a grenade at Soldier Boy and it doesn't do anything. And to add insult to injury, Soldier Boy doesn't even remember killing MM's family whatsoever because he's killed so many people along the way. Just a very diabolical, messed up scene. Each time that we see another new member of Payback in action, I do kind of wonder how this team was successful at all, because for the most part, they've been kind of underwhelming. TNT, they do nothing in the situation. Soldier Boy completely obliterates them, along with a significant portion of the house. It takes out quite a chunk of the Herogasm guests, which causes even more hysteria in the house. Soldier Boy, every time we see him in action, he's doing like absolute massive destruction, which it is very cool to see in action, but it's also horrifying at the same time just how much damage he can do and how powerful he is. I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of surprised how we resolved the beef between A-Train and Blue Hawk. I mean, I don't know if you really want to call it resolving the beef. It was more like A-Train grabbed Blue Hawk, drug him as fast as he can on the sidewalk until he was basically hamburger. But nevertheless, the situation has been solved. Blue Hawk is dead and A-Train passes out on the side of the road. The best part about this episode is just when I think that this episode peaked and it couldn't get any better, it continues to surprise me more and more when Homelander does arrive on the scene, setting the stage for a battle between Soldier Boy and Homelander, which is exactly what we wanted in the beginning. This entire battle is epic because the fact they are evenly matched, which you don't see ever, especially with Homelander, but the fight continues to get better and better as we introduce Butcher into the mix. He starts fighting Homelander as well, and even Huey gets in on the action. 3-on-1 fight with Huey, Butcher, and Soldier Boy taking on Homelander. Pure popcorn entertainment, and they almost actually kill Homelander, but he escapes at the last minute. I mean, I did figure there's no way they would kill Homelander in the very first meeting between all of them, but it was really close. It really had me nervous. There's so much non-stop mayhem for the latter portion of the episode. I did actually like the change of pace here, kind of ending on an emotional note, with Annie stepping up and using her voice, going live from the wreckage, telling the truth about everything, about how superheroes don't really care about you, the stuff with Homelander, the disappearance of Maeve being quite shady, and quitting being Starlight. Really powerful ending there, and it's going to be intriguing to see how that develops for the rest of the season. But by far, this is my favorite episode of the season so far. This episode and the finale, I think, are the best episodes, because I have seen the entire season, but I am doing weekly recaps here, so I don't want to give too much away on where the episodes go from here on out these next 2 weeks. But really exciting stuff here. Make sure you share your thoughts down below. What did you think of this episode, Herogasm? Did it live up to the hype for you? Did you like the episode, not like the episode? Share your thoughts or theories you may have where we're going to go in the next couple episodes with these storylines. It's going to be a lot of fun these next couple weeks, let me tell you. But thank you guys so much for checking out the review. I really appreciate that. Make sure to like on the video. Also, subscribe to the channel so you're always up to date with my review restrictions, unboxings, and more. For the next time, I'll see you guys later.